Lotharius Quinn, the Kid, King Petty himself. This was a character I played in a tabletop RPG known as Eclipse Phase, and just like the name suggests, he was probably easily the most pettiest character I ever played. He was kind of fun though. To kick things off, we can probably start off with his backstory and explain a little bit on Eclipse Phase so things make sense. Eclipse Phase takes place in the future where mankind has uploaded its consciousness to the internet, which they use to upload their consciousness into vessels they call morphs. Each morph varies from the last and can be customized in a plethora of ways to fit whatever skill set that you needed to cover. The one thing all morphs have in common, they have a little piece that is embedded into your spine that is located around the base of your skull last I checked, and it essentially works like a memory card. It keeps all of your memories. So if at any point that your character dies, you just have to recover the cordial stack or get someone to recover it for you, and you have your memories. If you don't have that, you can just go back to your latest backup that you have for your current morph. I'll go ahead and mention now this was my first campaign of Eclipse Phase, so I probably will get a game mechanic wrong here and there. Please try and not to be up in arms in the comments about it. And with that, we can get started. Like I said in the beginning, my character's name was Lotharius Quinn. He was one hell of a hacker, programmer. If it was tech related, he more than likely could get into it and use it for malicious purposes, which is where he made most of his money. Well, not including gate crashing. I think last I checked, gate crashing was something along the lines of finding portals that went to like planets and stuff that were forbidden to go to, grabbing artifacts from them and selling them for high amounts of money. However, gate crashing was more of like a little side job hobby thing that actually got him a decent chunk of money. But hacking was his main thing that he did, and the start of this campaign is honestly what got him into a lot of trouble as well. Like I said, he would use said information for malicious purposes. 9 times out of 10, he would blackmail the company, get them to pay him some form of ransom to get the information back, or if that didn't work, he'd sell it to the highest bidder, and they do with whatever they want with the information they just obtained from him. However, the corporation that he ended up hacking into that we figured out later in the story is known as Smith & Western. Smith & Western were kind of a super corporation. They were massive. So at this point in time when he hacked in, he was not looking for information because everybody, their grandma has information about super corporations, so it wasn't a huge deal. This time he was kind of just digging for cred. He stole upwards of millions of dollars in cred from this specific company, and instead of, just leaving without a trace like a normal person, he decided, I'm gonna scroll through the company directory, find the person with the stupidest name, and pretty much leave a giant paper trail or trail leading directly back to them, making it seem like he did it. The person in question's name was Dick Chambers. Get it? It's a balls joke. He did keep tabs on Dick Chambers, after the situation, and essentially the man got fired. Every penny that he owned and every property he owned was taken to cover the money he allegedly stole, and I effectively ruined his life. However, my involvements with the Supercorp did not stop there. No, that'd be too easy, and that'd be another, once again, smart thing to do. Yeah, no, my character was like, I got in last time and I kind of left the back door. We're gonna go in again. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. This time, he was not searching for cred this time because that their security was higher this time around. They'd kind of be looking for someone stealing 1 million cred again. Nope, this time he was digging deep. Like deep for like information that nobody had on this company, and he found it. He definitely found it. The information that he found was it was damning. It was I'll get into it a little bit in some later episodes, but long story short, he found it and was just like, oh no. Nope, I'm gonna wipe my memory. So he ends up wiping his memory, like complete clean slate. However, he's not an idiot, so he kept a backup somewhere of the information. He has no idea where it is, though. He just pretty much wiped his entire memory banks, left like a little clip for himself to find at some point, and just was just like, yeah, I found out some information I wasn't supposed to know. It's probably better for me and anybody affiliated for me. I'm just gonna wipe my memories, you know, just clean slates. Fast forward a set amount of time into the future, he did way too good of a job at wiping his memory, and he was found by a small gang out in the middle of nowhere on some asteroid colony, feral. He was completely out of his mind, and the gang found him, thought he was cute, and took him in. I think the reason they thought he was cute, he was in a way different morph this time. He was in a morph known as a neotenic. A neotenic is about the size of a child, so my character is now 4'5", I believe his size was. He ended up spending the next, I believe, 18 years with the gang, just doing gang things. He ended up helping the gang establish their name a little bit more. They still were small, however, they had connections out the freaking wazoo and dabbled a little bit in everything, honestly. Freaking drug trafficking, smuggling, everything. You name it, more than likely they had their hands in it or knew somebody who could get their hands into it. Little side note on the gang, they were known as MLG. Yeah, you know, just like Major League Gamers. Yeah. Now they wanted it to be known as Major League Gangsters, so they actually bullied MLG into changing their name so that they'd be the only ones who would have that name. I see you judging. Don't judge me. I was just making a character. And that's honestly where the campaign picked up for my character. The other players were working with a company known as Firewall, and they essentially picked up on my character knowing the information he wasn't supposed to know, and they wanted it before it got into the wrong hands and things along that nature, blah, 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 blah. And the characters pretty much were coming to find my character so that they could figure out what I was supposed to know, because it wasn't common knowledge that I had erased my memory, and it took them 20 years to find me because he was pretty well hidden. Asteroid colonies aren't exactly super easy to find. That about does it for the video, honestly. I'm gonna make another one that'll actually start getting into the story. I don't want to do, you know, a giant 2-3 hour long story for my first video, because I'm pretty sure nobody wants to watch that, especially with no, like, anything to supplement it, considering we played this story for like 2 years, so it has a little meat to it. But I guess let me know if you guys want to hear more, you know, like, comment, share it with your grandma or something, I don't know. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Jar of Wizard. Yeah, you guys have a nice day. Bye.